Hi guys, it's the Forgetful Scholar, and let's chat about books. 2 books this week. I managed to read 2 books this week. I'm fighting the book slump as hard as I can. Okay, now the first one is The Secrets of Sir Richard Kenworth, the Smyth-Smith Quartet, book 4 by Julia Quinn, and this is a 2-star, and it's lucky to have that. So this is Trust Issues, and the other book I read is Family. You know, in my mind, those are the little, like, I have these titles in my head of these of the books that are completely for me, that when I look at them in the shelf, I'm like, oh yeah, Trust Issues, oh yeah, that one's Family, that one's Time Travel, you know what I mean, just for me. So it's lucky to have 2 stars. It's an FM historical romance. The reason it's 2 stars is 1, the worst plot of the 4 books, of the little quartet 4 books. 2, the best female of the 4 books. So I was like, so this one has to do with Richard, who's not really associated with the Smyth-Smiths at all, and Iris, who is a Smyth-Smith. She is the cousin, and we saw her in book 3 when she totally put Sarah, who was I think the third book, but I think the girl's name was Sarah, put her in her place because she is kind of self-centered and a little all over, a little dramatic, and I like that Iris put her in her place. I like Iris a lot. She's calm, she's collected, she is highly intelligent, and it's not like this book we're told she's highly intelligent and that she does stupid shit. No, she's intelligent the whole time, which I really, really liked. And she's sarcastic, you know? So the whole time, Richard's like, I have a secret, I must marry her right away, la 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 la. So, he has 2 weeks to marry somebody. It's supposed to be the big secret. I was like, and when did this come out? Let's see if I'm going to spoil the secret or not. Hold on, let's see. 2015. Yeah, that's enough time. So, when I was reading, like, oh, he's rushed to get married, he has to get married, I thought 2 things. 1, an inheritance issue, you know what I mean? Like, you have to get married by this time or you lose your inheritance trope, you know? Or secret baby trope, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, one of those. Like, it wasn't that difficult to figure out. Like, it was one of those, right? And he goes to the Smyth-Smith musicale, which is, of course, horrible. And he just hones in on Iris, because he could tell that she's actually can play the cello. She's actually quite talented in the cello. And she obviously hates being up the stage because she's trying to hide behind her cello. And what I liked was that he was interested in courting her. 1, because she's, well, why he approaches her is because obviously she really loves her family. And she's willing to do things she hates for her family. And that's really important to him, because he is the sole guardian for his 2 sisters. 1 is 14 and one's like 18-esque, I think. So, you know, and the thing is, Richard's not bad. He's not bad. If we didn't have his POV, I would hate his guts. But, like, he thinks he's doing what he has to do for his family. You know what I mean? And I get that. I do. It's just he's really stupid. And I mean, they're not, you know, Richard and his 2 sisters, they're not stupid. You know what I mean? But compared to Iris, they're so stupid. Like, the moment Iris finds out what the problem is, it takes her, like, okay, in the book, like 2 pages, but in actuality, like 3 or 4 days to figure, well, no, actually, okay. She's upset for like a week, but when she finds out what's really going on, because the sisters, Fleur and Marie Claire, are idiots, and when she finds out what they're keeping from their brother, when it has to do with this horrible situation, the moment she finds out what's going on, she takes like literally a paragraph to fix it. Like, I love that. I love that, right? So, going back to that, he starts like actively pursuing her, and she's really cautious about it because she's not quote unquote beautiful. Although her descriptions, she sounds freaking gorgeous. But okay, like reddish, strawberry blonde hair that's really pale. Not into fashion. Gray eyes, not in fashion. She has very light eyelashes, not in fashion. But, you know, apparently her face is lovely. Like, she sounded gorgeous to me. You know what I mean? But whatever. So she's already suspicious, you know, and she's not naive. She doesn't like have these great expectations of this great love. Like, she's very based in the 1800s. She is gentry. You know, there's certain rules. Like, she, you know, I like that she's definitely based in that wholeheartedly. You know what I mean? She doesn't feel like a modern day heroine stuck in the past, you know? Like, placed in the past. You know what I mean? So, and he basically forces he proposed, and see, the thing is, he's like, he didn't expect to like her personality, and the thing about Richard is one of his saving graces for me, he falls in love with her personality. He thinks she's so smart, so funny, he likes hanging out with her, the more he sees, the more gorgeous she appears, like, I really enjoy that, you know what I mean, especially in the romance genre, I really love that. So, Richard's not bad, he's just an idiot. He thinks he is the only one that could figure out how to fix this problem. And then he doesn't, like, veer off from that plan, you know? So, like, it makes sense for the time period, you know? But also, I just want to be like, Iris, kick him in the shin! Something! Anyway, so, he proposes after, like, a week. And she's like, what? And she knows something's wrong. Because no one does that. You know what I mean? And then he sees at the corner of their eye, one of her family members walks into where they're talking. So he kisses her to force the issue. So he compromises her. And the thing is, he does feel really guilty about it, right? So they have a rush marriage, you know, they get married right away. And he feels guilty. Now, what really drove me nuts is that they're married. He could tell her 100 different times what's going on. You know, one of the jumping blocks of him falling in love with her was that he knew she would understand, right? And meanwhile, I'm reading this and I'm like, just tell her about the secret baby. Obviously, there's a secret baby. You are not that clever. I know there's a secret baby. Just freaking tell her. Because obviously you can't figure out the problem. She will. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was like yelling at the book in the first quarter of it. You know what I mean? I was like, just tell her. So most of the book is them being married and him not sleeping with her because he feels guilty about, like, forcing the marriage on her, and he doesn't want to sleep with her until, like, he tells her the truth, but he's a coward and he's afraid she'll hate him once she's told the truth and all this stuff. And the whole time, I like that the whole time she knew he's hiding something. Because she's smart. She's smart. And I like that. It's not just told that she's smart and then we don't see it. She's smart and we see it. We see that she knows something's going on. We see it that she knows, like... And this book, finally, instead of, like, the main girl just like, oh, I know he's a good man. I just can sense it. It drives me nuts with this author. She does that a lot. But in this book, you know, more she learns about him, oh... He was a young man. He took on the responsibility of caring for his sisters. He sent them to the aunts because he was still in school. But, like, you know, obviously family means a lot to him. So from there, she knows he's not, like, a dillweed. You know what I mean? So that was nice. Finally, that was something. It just drove me nuts the whole time. And then, yeah, surprise, there's a secret baby. His oldest sister, Fleur, is pregnant. And he's trying to figure out how it won't ruin both his sisters. So he married Iris, hoping Iris will go along with the plan of raising Fleur's baby. And to save Fleur and marry Claire. And Iris sees, like, a bunch of holes in this plan. Thank you, Iris. Thank you for thinking what the reader is thinking. Like, how this will just cause more problems. Especially since Fleur is totally against it. Now, the thing is, I don't think we were supposed to like Fleur. Because the moment she enters the book, she's combative, she's argumentative, she's petulant. I get she's pregnant and her brother's going to take away her baby. The thing is, this is the 1800s. Fleur was raised in the gentry mindset. She knows she's not married, she's pregnant. She knows the consequences of that. So the fact that she's basically biting the hand that feeds her was, like, really made no sense to me. And the thing is, like, every counter argument, like, oh, just send me away to be a widow. Say I'm a widow. And he's like, we don't have the money for that. You know? So I like that there was real reasons why he couldn't do something like that. Like, they just didn't have the money for that. He's like, I would love, I don't have the money for that. And also, I would worry about you guys all the time. And she's like, I'll be fine. He's like, no, you won't. You were raised with servants. You don't know how to do anything. Like, you can't just, no, you won't. And she says the father of a baby's dead. So he can't even force them to get married, you know. It's, and like Iris finds out. And the thing is, when Iris finds out from her point of view, we feel her heartbreak. Because she feels like he only married her because he thinks she's pathetic. That's not why, but that's what she thinks. So like as the readers, I was on Iris' side. I felt bad. I was like, oh, Iris, sweetheart. You know what I mean? You know? And like Richard's just... It's not like he enjoys the situation. You can tell he's tortured by it. He's in love with Iris. He hates that he hurt Iris. He loves his sister. He doesn't want to hurt his sister. Even though Fleur gave us nothing to sympathize with her. Like, nothing. I was like, Iris, slap her. Also, you guys know me, bloodthirsty. But I was like, I know she's pregnant, but she's not really. Just slap her. Like, it was just like, oh. Because Fleur was so combative. And so, like, F you, F you, F you. And, like, she wasn't participating in trying to fix this. And it was just crazy. So, the younger sister, who's fine, I think was written fine. She's 14. She's a 14-year-old, you know. Because, you know, sisters know, right? And she knew that who Fleur said was the father was not the father. She just knew. It's this man that we met earlier on in the book, who is a farmer on their land, who Richard really respects. Like, Richard likes him, respects him. And Iris is like, I'm going to kill her. And I'm like, yes, go yell at her. Iris, go. So she goes to Fleur, and she basically just like, hey, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. She goes, like, basically, that's the moment she just realizes all three of them, idiots. Except maybe not Richard, because Richard actually doesn't know that the father's actually alive. He thinks he's dead. So for that part, I'll put Richard aside. He's just like a stubborn, I'm a man, I'll fix this, which is consistent with that time period, you know, whatever. And at the same time, in Richard's point of view, he realizes he can't do this to Iris. He can't force this on Iris, because Iris really doesn't want to do this. She's really upset about it. You know, she figures all the holes in the plan. What if it's a boy? Are you going to deny your own, and we have a boy of our own, are you going to deny your own son his inheritance? Like, what's happening? Because your first boy's not going to know that he's not, like, she sees the holes in this plot and is like, you're an idiot, and here's why. So at the same time, he's like, I love Iris, I can't make her do this. So he's trying to find them when Iris is basically yelling at Fleur. And the author really cuts her own tension, like, so much, because they're in this intense, heated argument conversation, and like Fleur just does an analogy about her and how she doesn't like the trappings of wealth with roses, because they're in a greenhouse. And I'm like, you could just say that, like, that stuff never appealed to you. We don't need, like, the second tangent about all these roses. It's boring. It cut the tension. What are you doing? You know? The guy that's really the father, he's just a farmer, and it would ruin Marie Claire's chances of marriage and stuff like that. Huge scandal. And Fleur's like, no, you idiots. We'll send Marie Claire to England, to London, not England, they're in England, to London, and the ton in London will know what my mother, who's like the gossip queen, tells them. She'll be fine. And you're marrying John. And that's the end of it. You know, like that's why it's 2 stars and not like 0. Because Iris is so good. Because the plot, nothing. Like, it was like a nothing plot. It was literally them screwing themselves over, and Iris is just left with the emotional damage. And, you know, he finds Iris tells him the truth, but before, like, he's like, I can't let you do this. I love you, all this stuff. And the thing is, like, the emotional pain Iris felt, I felt like when she found out why he married her, I felt like Richard didn't do enough. Like, he didn't fix it, you know? He never explained why he married her really was because she loved her family. And he fell in love with her mind and, like, he thinks she's gorgeous. Like, he never explained that, right? So I felt like he didn't do enough to explain, to fix the hurt he caused. You know what I mean? But happily ever after, I guess. And there was one thing, side tangent on this book. There was one thing that I keep noticing. So, in her books, she mentions Jane Austen a lot. Pride and Prejudice in this one. It's one of Iris's favorite books. Girl, me too. Love it. Also, there is this author in this Julia Quinn's world called Sarah Coley, who writes these ridiculous romance novels that the two main characters usually bond over how stupid they are. Like, What Happens in London. In that book, the protagonist's mother's pecked to death by pigeons. In this one, the archer is shot in the head by the dog. Like, it's just really ridiculous, overdramatic stuff, right? And what I notice is that the two main leads bond over the ridiculous of these romance novels in this book. And the romance novels are usually loved by secondary characters. And in this one, by Fleur, who, off the bat, I don't think we're meant to like. So, like, I was just, maybe it was the mood in which I was in when I was reading this, because this was not the book to try to get out of a book slump, let me tell you, because it just pissed the shit out of me. I was like, Julia Quinn, do you not like romance novels? Are you making fun of romance novels? Are you criticizing people who enjoy your books? Or are you upset that your books are not up to Jane Austen's level? Because, honey, no one is going to be. You know what I mean? Like, it felt such a weird thing. And I feel like it's such a weird window into Julia Quinn's psyche that she makes these overdramatic novels in her books that the main characters make fun of, but, like, secondary annoying characters love. Like, it's such a interesting thing going on. Like, do you not think your readers are smart enough to pick that up and be like, hey, fuck you? Like, what is happening? Again, this could be me just reading into it because I'm been in a pissy mood lately, 100%. But, like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, let me know if you guys notice that too, or if it's just, like, the mood I was in colored how I saw that. Maybe it's just supposed to be a cheeky little insert, little comedy. I don't know, but that was weird. Like, maybe if it's like one of the main characters loves those books, it would be different, but they always think they're stupid. Okay. I'm moving on to family. Unknown, Rath and Rune, Book 3 by Jordan L. Hawk. I loved it. This is 5 stars. Thank you so much. I was hoping this book would get me out of my book slump, and indeed it was. I loved it. And now I have to wait a really long time because book 4 is not out yet. So we continue to follow Sebastian and Vesper on their journey to find the 4 books. These necromancing, evil, black magic books that were created by Sebastian's ancestors. And to stop them, Sebastian is bound to them. Like, Vesper's able to bound them to him. So the stakes are, like, growing quite a bit. And the School of Night is trying to stop them. It's like a cult that wants the books for themselves. And then we have Vesper and not their brothers. Their psychotic family is in the mix, too. Which is not good. Now, if you don't know, Vesper and his younger brother, Nocturne, they are half Cthulhu. They're half Cthulhu. Like, their other parent was the black goat, is the black goat of the woods, who is a Cthulhu god. So they are called the Dark Young, which, like, every time I read that, I almost feel like my dyslexia is flipping the words and I should be reading young dark, but no, it's dark young. And they have a lot of powers. Like the younger brother is very powerful magic, like crazy powerful magic, especially when it comes to the woods or anything, or like a wooden anything. Like he picks up a spoon, he could turn it into like a thriving living tree. He could turn the books in the library into have them sprout out wooden spikes, which comes in handy. And Vesper, the older brother, was meant to be sort of like the general to kill humanity and put his younger brother as king. That's what their doomsday family wanted them to do. And Vesper was like, nah, peace and love, bro. And he grabbed his brother and ran, which is so wonderful because they were really beaten and tortured and like tried to be indoctrinated into this cult. And Vesper and Noct was strong enough to be like, no, we don't want to subjugate humanity. We actually quite like humanity, even though they don't like us. But like, we don't want to kill everybody, you know? So that takes a lot of strength, right? And I love how this author always is so good at making the outside appearance have nothing to do with how wonderful the person is. I love that. Thank you for that. It's wonderful. Noct, the younger brother, he has a very beautiful androgynous face, but most of his body's tentacles. Vesper has like his human form, and then he has this other form where he has tentacles out of his back and goat eyes and things like that. Okay, so caught up? Cool. All right. This play takes place 10 years after Wyborn and Griffin series that I love. And actually at one point in this book, Sebastian's like, oh, if Perseus Wyborn was here, I would hand him these issues and be done with it, because they're such good people, they wouldn't be corrupted by the power, and they would know how to fix it. You know what I mean? Which is like, that's true. Yeah. I don't want to give too much away because this literally came out like last month. So this has to do with the Book of Bone, because they have the Book of Breath, the Book of Flesh, and now the Book of Bone. Now, it's sort of a ticking time bomb, like clock, because the other person in the past that was bound to these books lost his mind. So Vesper's really worried. I do like that we get a lot of Not in this. We get a lot of his personality, because before he kind of was in the shadows of his brother. You knew he agreed with his brother about running away. You know, he was really happy for his brother, but jealous too, because he didn't think anybody could love him. But then Irene, we love Irene. She's an Edicott sorceress. So like distant cousins to Wyborn. She loves Not. She breaks up her engagement. She wants to be with Not. They're together in this book. It's really cute. So much so that the head of her family wants to meet Not and Vesper. So that's why this book is like family for me, because they have this super awkward family dinner with the Edicotts, and they're like monster hunters, you know what I mean? So, and we get Hattie is back, and I remember her from the Wyborn Griffin book, but you don't have to read Wyborn and Griffin to enjoy this. I actually got one of my friends to start reading Rath and Rune, and she's never read Wyborn and Griffin, and so far she really loves it. So you don't have to, you know. Do I recommend? Yes, because they're great books, but do you have to? No. So that's like, it's really interesting, and we get like a really amazing scene with Not and like his inner thoughts. Well, not inner thoughts, but like what he feels about what his family wanted him to do, how he feels about humanity. Like, he's so eloquent, you know, and we're reminded that he was raised to be a king, where Vess was raised to be the general. So like, it's nice to see that, you know, and I love their brother relationship. How like they could fight but still love each other, and they're like on a team. Like, they're so sweet. I love them, you know? And I love Sebastian and Vesper's love, because this is a paranormal historical sorry, forgot, got a little ahead of myself because I was excited. I enjoyed it. So it's really sweet. I don't want to get into it, but again, the fighting scenes, this author's so good at these crazy magical Cthulhu fighting scenes with tentacles and magic and like silver and spears and like guns, you know, like it's so good. It's so good. This is like 200 pages. I devoured this in like one afternoon. I couldn't put it down. I loved it. So thank you, Jordan L. Hawk. That really helped with my book slump. So there we go. I absolutely loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Okay. So I'm just really excited that I liked a book. Oh, reading slumps are tough. Anyway, I don't want to, but it's time for me to get back to the real world. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.